bit. Let me pull this up. So can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Oops, let's do this. Let's see this over here. All right. So today I am super excited. We're talking about leveraging SmartPlans. And what I wanted to do today was really not just talk about SmartPlans, but I really wanted to talk about your business. And so it's not, we're going to talk about SmartPlans, but we are really going to talk about your business today. So thank you for those of you that joined. And what we're going to do is I'm going to introduce my special agent guest shortly. But there's a couple of things that I want all of us to think about. So if you don't have a pen and paper, or if you got your smartphone or whatever, but I want to have you take some notes because I really want to guide this 30-minute session to make sure that you are getting something out of it, that it's impactful for you. So the first thing I would say is there's going to be 4 questions. We're talking specifically about leveraging SmartPlans, but really fundamentally, we're talking about managing the pulse of your business. So the first question I would like for you to think about and then also write down, and I'm going to give you some time. There's going to be 4 questions again. So the first one is this: think about your business and your communication process. So what that means is think about how you currently communicate with either your clients and or potential clients. For those of you that are new, think about the ways that you want to communicate to your clients. So think about that. Jot down a couple things in terms of currently what you're doing or what you hope to do. The second thing I want you to ask yourself, and also process this or begin to process this on your paper or on your smartphone, where are the gaps in your communication? So go back to your communication, either how you are currently communicating with your clients or potential clients, or how you would like to. Where can you either see gaps in current communication and or thinking about what you want to do? What gaps do you foresee? So where are the gaps? Outside of my special guest, is there anyone that could tell me one gap that they see in their communication? And and let me clarify what I mean by gap, meaning you are not consistent as you would like to be. Wherever that process is, we're going to also talk a little bit about the client map, so you can understand how you communicate with your clients through that client map. But anyone want to share in one area in which you are not as consistent as you would like to be? Anyone?
I can say something to that.
Yes.
So thanks, Latasha.
So
you know, in my position, having no experience with utilizing, all of these tools that we've been given, it's there's a lot of things that I have to integrate. So I'm still thinking about what I'm saying, so that prevents me from actually listening and responding and staying curious to what's being said.
Gotcha. There's a bunch of great pros on the line, so I'm actually going to defer to any of them that wants to jump in, but I will say this. One of the things that I would encourage you to think about, and I know some of our agents utilize these tips, and it's going back to ninja selling in the sense, depending on whatever style of selling you like. Some people are more of a relationship builder, some focus on more of the facts and the data. you have to first figure out your style, your cadence of how you want to communicate. So if you're not a salesperson-y type person, that's totally fine. You want to think about what works best for you in terms of how you want to communicate and how you currently communicate to your friends and family. And then from there, leverage your approach. So for example, I'll give you a concrete example. For me, I'm very personable. I love people. I love getting to know people. So I leverage that aspect of my personality. So I'm all about building those relationships. And so approach it from that standpoint. And one of the things that I did in my business to how I got to where I am is essentially this. I leverage my friends and family in a sense that not leveraging in a bad way, but leveraging in a good way in terms of sharing with them how excited I was and how passionate I was about what I was doing. And so the more that I communicated to my friends and family, it started spreading to other people and the clients came. So don't be overwhelmed. And I'm saying this too with the newer agents, don't be overwhelmed with your presentation or how you're going to do it, or I don't have clients. Leverage, start where you start. So if it's with family and friends, let them know, let them see your passion, let them see your commitment, and that will create building blocks for you to move forward. And I'll defer to anyone else that wants to jump in from a seasoned perspective, but that would be my little 2 cents.
Good 2 cents.
Awesome. So 2 more questions. Thanks for sharing. So as you're thinking about your gap in terms of where are you least consistent, the third question is, what type of system do you need? So think about that gap that you identified or will identify in your communication. What tool or system do you need to be effective? So I'm going to give you a little minute to think about that. What tool or system do you need to be effective? Fourth and final question. How can technology help you? So keep in mind that my third question was about a system. It didn't say anything about technology. It said what type of system, meaning how are you going to map out that experience? And what I want to share really quickly with you is the client map to make sure we put the pieces all together. And then I'm going to bring on Brendan, and he's going to talk about what he saw in his business in terms of the gap in communication, how he wanted the system he wanted to create, and then he leveraged SmartPlans to do it. So one other thing I want to share with you, and let me stop share for just a minute and reshare, and hopefully I can find it. Really quickly. Okay, can you all see that client map? Okay, yes. So some of you have seen this before. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. So when we went through those 4 questions, guiding questions about your business in terms of how you're communicating in this way, whether you know it or not. We always everyone starts in the prospect phase. And it's in terms of we're creating that glance, that second look, that engagement. Then we go from there to a subscribe, meaning that maybe you've got, some things that are going out in terms of a monthly neighborhood nurture or something like that, whatever you're using. Then you actually bring on that client. So you're, now you've got that honeymoon stage, that excitement, that aha, that wonder, you're the best thing since sliced bread. These are what your clients are saying about you. So then you're working that deal, you're doing the client experience. And then from there, you're going to leverage your testimonials. And so the reason why I wanted to highlight this map is because going from that client phase, so there's 3 phases that we're talking about. We're talking about the prospect phase, to the client phase, to the advocate phase. And the reason why I wanted to land on this because it's so appropriate to what Brendan is going to speak about in terms of that advocate phase. And so I'm going to take any questions about the client map, and then I want to introduce Brendan. Brendan, are you here with us today? I saw you join in. Are you ready?
Hi, Latasha. Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is this. So I am going to stop share. Or do you want me to keep this up, or I can stop share and feature you, or how do you want to run today in terms of your piece of it?
You can keep this up for now. I think that it's a good segue to what I want, how I at least want to start my discussion.
Awesome. Go ahead. So take it away, Brendan, and tell everybody who you are for the sake of those that don't know you, and then just kind of your story and your journey through this process.
Absolutely. Aloha, everybody. Thank you for taking the time out to join us for this session on SmartPlans. My name is Brendan, based out of Hilo on Hawaii Island. I have been licensed for under a year. I joined KW in January, so I've been in the real estate industry for 8 months. So relatively new, always been passionate about it, passionate about technology, passionate about being a business owner, assisting clients. And so when it came to joining KW, technology was a huge reason for me to want to join this team. And you know, when you start off as a new agent, there's a lot of information, there's a lot of training that is being pushed your way that you have to try to grab onto and absorb as much as possible. When it came overwhelming for me, one of the things that I wanted to focus on was, okay, where are my leads going to come from? How do I want to be perceived? How do I want people to find me? Where do I want most of my business to come from? You know, and I have some sales experience, and in my experience, I've learned that getting your clients to the advocate phase is getting a lot of the work done on the front end. When I say that, you know, you have people out there that are promoting you, promoting your service. They're building your credibility with other people. And if you have the right people as your advocates, they edify you to future clients and future referrals. And they say, I can't tell you how many clients have said, well, you know what? You know, my friend referred you. If he trusts you, then I trust you. Let's go ahead and move forward. And it's almost as easy as that. So I wanted to get to a place where in my business, in my system, where I could, I have no problem with my scripts as far as asking for testimonials, but I wanted to leverage technology. I wanted to leverage command to be able to click a button or assign a smart plan. And there is a process that starts to reach out to these people to collect their information, to collect a survey, a testimonial, and then you can use that information for marketing campaigns, add it to your website, you know, social media campaigns, things like that. So I went to Latasha because when it comes to collecting testimonials and reviews, there's all kinds of different ways people do it, right? People use Zillow, people use Facebook, you know, to collect their testimonials. SurveyMonkey, right, which is what I ultimately decided to do. You know, this goes to also to promote taking the time to sit down with Latasha with a goal that you have in mind. Like I just had a general, I want to get better at collecting my testimonials. I want to be better at talking about my clients' journeys and how they were able to win with my assistance, right? They were the hero of their own story, but I was just there to help them along the way. How do I gather that information and use that information not just to collect a bunch of testimonials, but use them in campaigns, right? So when I talked to Latasha about it, you know, the route we decided to go was using SurveyMonkey, right? SurveyMonkey, you can ask them a bunch of different questions, and you can combine those answers to support whatever you want to do with it, whether it's you know, direct mailer, you know, client love on social media posts, things like that. And so ultimately, what I did. So Tasha walked me through the process. Okay, you can reach out to these people, you can email them, you can follow up, creating a task. And she basically essentially walked me through the process, right? How do you, you know, what is the map for myself, right? After, during the post-closing phase of the transaction, I always congratulate the client, give them their mahalo gift. And then I ask them, you know, if they're open to, you know, leaving a testimonial or giving me some feedback so I can improve better as an agent going forward, right? And so once they gave me the green light, I created a smart plan where I just assigned that client to it. And then number one, the first step is a email, right? The email that says, thank you. Maybe you can make me a host, Latasha,
Yeah.
can kind of
Let me do that right now. Done. And then let me stop share so you can share. There you go.
Yeah, there's definitely different ways of going about, you know, your creating a smart plan. And, you know, one of the ways that Latasha, especially for those who are new with the system, is find someone has started a smart plan for whatever reason you're looking for. So it's good to start off with a template of how people have created their smart plan and, you know, building it out from there. So let me share my screen here. Can you guys see my screen okay?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So I went with a simple one. You know, the first one the first action item is an email. So as soon as I sign the smart plan, it sends an email out, and you can you know, tailor the message. You can add in this, you know, the smart verbiage into it, so it automatically pulls in your client's name. Thank you so much for working with me. You tell them how much you appreciate the journey that you were on them with, and you know, you want to get better as an agent. You want potential clients to know what they can expect when working with you. So, you know, please, you know, give me a review, and here is a link, right, to my my SurveyMonkey SurveyMonkey survey. And they ask, and there's all kinds of different feedback. And this was actually also from Latasha, one of Latasha's trainings, the different questions that you can ask people. Because if you just ask someone for a testimonial, it's you know, you want to kind of guide them through what you want to hear. What worked best for you? What did I do that really helped you? What could I improve on? You know, are there anything specific that you would want other clients to know about working with me, right? Do you have anyone specific off the top of your head? You want to ask those questions over the phone, and you want to reiterate it again in the survey, right? So the first step is just creating an email, right? And then, you know, you also have all the plugs to your social media pages. Just another way of connecting to you as an agent, not just an agent as well, right? They want to build that personal relationship with you as well. I have a delay here for 5 days if they haven't responded. You know, a text message goes out, an automatic text message through Twilio that says, hey, just want to reach out, just make sure that you got my survey. Let me know if you want me to resend it. And the question sometimes I had is, hey, I've seen that the survey came through. Should I cancel the smart plan? You know, because they're getting another text message to remind them. But in my experience, I just leave it on, let the whole smart plan run through. It's just another touch, another way to stay top of mind with your clients, right? This is a 3-touch smart plan that I created up here, you know, and I'm developing different ways, like different landing pages that I want to attach to this for, you know, tips for new homeowners, you know, things like that in order to expand on my smart plan. But I at least wanted to create something to collect all of my testimonials, right? So again, so the first step was the email, delay 5 days, a Twilio text message goes out to remind them. And then after 3 days, you get a task to call them and ask them, hey, if you haven't had a chance to complete my survey, I can send that to you. Is there any questions that you have? What did I really do well? You know, have that conversation with them over the phone. So essentially, it has helped my business and my peace of mind. You know, when it comes to the stages within the opportunity, that's one of the stages in my opportunity. When it says to ask your testimonial, it's assign the post-closing smart plan to my recently closed escrow clients. You know, and from there, you know, I'll get an email once the survey comes through, and then that's kind of another system that I'm still in process of doing, right? Because you have all this information now, what are you going to do with it, right? But the first step for me was creating a system, creating a smart plan, leveraging command in order to make this part of my process better. Because again, I wanted to focus on my leads coming from referrals, and that is creating testimonials on my social media pages, my website, and just another way of touching your clients after they've closed on a property. Does anybody have any questions for me or for Latasha specific to the smart plans?
Brendan, I have a question. It's Aisha. Oh, hang on. I'm going to start.
Hi, Aisha.
Hey. Okay, so this is really cool. I've always been scared to start something like that because I'm going like, oh my gosh, who's going to be like checking off the task and then, you know, having to check if it actually got done, and or if they send me something back And if I'm not available, it's gonna look really bad not to respond to them. That's what's always scared me from doing one of those. How did you deal with that?
Yeah, I definitely felt that way too. There's a certain level of professionalism and quality, right, you want to send out to your clients. And so this isn't something that I just created right away. When it comes to the verbiage and how I wanted the message to come across, it definitely took some trial and error. I sent it, I created myself, right, a test contact within Command. And every new SmartPlan that I create, I test it on myself, I test it on my spouse, on some of my friends and family that I'm like, hey, check this out. How does this look when this email comes out to you? How does this text message look when it gets sent to you? And it becomes trial and error. And at a certain point too, there's people on our team in your office that have done something similar to this before, or if there are certain words that you should or should not use, or maybe if you use this word, it'll come across a better way. People will respond better to this verbiage. So getting buy-off from experienced agents who have done this before, or not necessarily your SmartPlan, but they get client testimonials on a regular basis. If you're on social media, you'll see certain agents are constantly getting testimonials. Reach out to them. Hey, or just use them as a template, right? See what people are saying and ask those type of questions, right? That was another question, like for me. What should my email say? What's the verbiage in my email? What's the verbiage in my text message, right? But also, what kind of questions should I ask, right? That'll trigger them. Like, so, don't ask a lot of yes or no questions. Add some of those in there, but what are you going to do with our yes or no answer testimonial? And again, I leveraged Latasha. I leveraged my PC coach, Rochelle, to put together an effective survey and a message that came across that you're generally trying to get better. You generally want to help other people. You want people to know what to expect when working with myself as a real estate agent. So trial and error, lean on your team for sure.
Could I jump in, Aisha? One other thing I wanted to share. One of the things that I worked with Brendan on is something that I leveraged in my own business. So I took my success in terms of generating 5-star consistently. So I averaged on my business 97 to 99% 5-star ratings. And I do that because this is what I did. So I hired someone to help me. And what they did is at the very beginning of the year, we based all of our changes off of a story called your brand story. And basically you want to, and Brendan alluded to this, you want to make sure that you in your system and the way you communicate and the way you do your business, you want to make your client the hero. Oftentimes in our marketing, we come across as the hero and not the client. So what I did is I revamped everything based on this book. And then I created, leveraged, some other industries and came up with 5 questions, open-ended questions, not yes or no questions that got to the heart of the matter in terms of, I think my client experience is this, but I want to test that out. So then what I did is I coined 5 really key, targeted, directed questions, and I leveraged that. And then that increased my already positive reviews, and it just catapulted it even more. And so basically what I did is I took what someone else gave me and my success and shared it with Brendan, who was open to it. And so I just really want to say, make sure that whatever you do, make sure you are really getting to the heart of what you're trying to address. That's why I asked the pointed questions, like, where are the gaps in your communication? Where are you not consistent or as consistent as you'd like to be? And then just make sure whatever system, whatever tech you use, that you're actually addressing that issue, that concern. So I just wanted to highlight that. I'd be more than happy to share notes in terms of that brand story if anybody's open to it. But I'll stop talking and let Brendan keep running the show. But I just wanted to jump in and say that.
Yeah, thanks, Latasha.
Thanks, Latasha. And that kind of goes hand in hand too with, like, there was a training for SmartPlans, and then there was another training that Latasha gave about brand awareness and getting your brand out there, right? So when it came to putting together my SmartPlan, it wasn't just one SmartPlan training class. It was a combination of the different the different trainings that are available to us, different ways of standing out, right? That could be a whole nother training in its own right. The best ways to market, if you're a new agent versus a seasoned agent, those different scenarios. My advice to new agents, because I'm a new agent myself, is to, go to as many trainings as you can, but focus on what you want to focus on in your business. Like find your gaps, find out where you want to spend less time and leverage the system in a way. If you're not sure, if you just have like a general idea, hey, I want to do this. Can the system do that? Even a simple question like that, a 30-minute session with Latasha or with your coach, with a mentor, that really starts the conversation and just expands your mind to what you, outside of what you think is achievable. It's amazing what I've been able to learn with Latasha, through the system, talking ideas, talking strategies through with my PC coach, with Rochelle. Any other questions? Another smart plan I'm wanting to work on, because I've talked to people that have lead programs, right? And you get leads at any part of the day, midnight, first thing in the morning. And it's important to get back to those leads as soon as possible. So you can create a smart plan. If you do a Facebook paid ad, you create a smart plan that responds right away. Whether it's a text message or an email, hey, when's a good time to get back to you? And they'll usually text back, oh, early, at 9 o'clock. They'll inquire at 5 o'clock in the morning, but they don't want to talk to you till 9 o'clock or till noon. And at least you'll get that response right away if you create a smart plan. So I'm in the process of creating a new one to kind of enhance my paid ads through Facebook and Instagram. That's another avenue that I'm working on for my smart plans.
One other tip I'll share with you, if there aren't any other questions, but one other tip I'll share with you is this, especially for the new agents, and it could be also a reminder for the experienced agents, is once you identify how you want to communicate, and I'm putting on speaking to newer agents, once you identify, what it is you want to communicate, what message you want to send out, I would say be consistent, be short and concise in your communication with your clients. And this is from more of I'm putting on my marketing background in terms of the brand awareness. The one thing that worked for me, and I know it will work for you, is that when you're going back and forth and you're communicating with your client, think about this. However you communicate, whether it's a phone call, whether if it's a text, whether if it's an email, always end with a question. And the reason why I say that, and this is a marketing strategy, it has nothing to do with industry. This can apply to across all industries. Make sure you are ending with a question mark. And let me walk this through. So for example, when people initially call me for my business and, hey, I'm reaching out to you for XYZ, I basically do this, and this is the system that may help you. First of all, I look at the way that they communicated to me. Did they text me? Did they call me? Did they email me? If it was short and sweet, then I respond short and sweet. So I'll say, answer that specific question. And then I'll do a soft lead question like, how can I help you? Just, keep it in short and open-ended to where it's not a yes or no, because what I'm doing is I'm creating this mental telepathy with them like, oh, she's waiting on me to get back to her about something. And it could be, a short, simple, innocuous question, but just a simple question mark will go from a static, one-way conversation to an open-ended two-way conversation where it's like, oh, she asked me this, I need to get back to her. So even if it takes them a week or 2 days or whatever it is, you still are in the back of their mind, top of mind. Oh, I need to get back to her or him on something like that. So it doesn't have to be, are you ready to buy today? That's not the question, but just something short and sweet to get them thinking, So just think about that in terms of the cadence of how you communicate, and make sure that you're always ending with those open-ended questions, and just really listen, take the cue from the client in terms of however they're communicating, whatever they're looking for, make sure you answer that, end with a simple question, and go from there. Sorry, I've got multiple people trying to reach me. So sorry about that. So Any questions, anything that we can strategize, anything that Brendan or myself or any of the experienced agents can help you with? I mean, I want to maximize this 30 minutes. We're almost up, but or actually we are up. Is there any final question, thoughts, Jill?
Just on a simple, I think it's a simple question. When we find something that we like and then we create changes to it, is that something we can save and separate so that we can reuse it again? I kind of got confused on how to do that.
Yes, great question. So yes, the short answer is yes, 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 and yes. So you can take a smart plan or any type of communication, you can change it up to your own vernacular, and then whatever changes you make, the first thing that Brendan also alluded to or basically said, which he did, is you want to test it out. So then send that smart plan, send that communication to yourself, just so you know what it looks like. And then also send it out to other people, your friends and family. My husband for me is my best tester. I send everything out to him to proofread, because I'm always in my, headspace of staging. And so I'm not really thinking about everything else or how it's perceived. So I kick it to him because he's not thinking about that at all. So then he gives me his constructive third party perspective. And so I would encourage you to do that. But yes, 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 you can definitely save whatever you want. And then that is in there. And then that is what you're sending. And if you want to tweak it more, you save it. Save is your best friend outside of Teal. And so that was a joke for those of you that listen to my training on a regular basis. So yes, you can save it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Great question. Anyone else? No? Well, first of all, Brendan, thank you so much for being willing to even share your story. He is an amazing person, individual, as all of you are. But I just really want to thank you for taking the time and being willing to share, because sometimes it's a little, nerve wracking to like, oh my gosh, the spotlight's on me. But I really appreciate that, because I think the more agents hear from other agents in terms of testimonials, you may not necessarily create the system, like Brendan did, but hopefully it will inspire you to create it to however you want to see your business go. So leverage SmartPlans, leverage whatever system. You don't have to use SmartPlans, but he specifically did. He combined it with some other resources and just basically made it work for him. So, and that's, at the end of the day, that's what you want to do as an agent. You want to utilize the systems that work for you. So if it's SmartPlans, I can help, reach out to your broker, your productivity coach, whomever you're working with to leverage that piece of it. But we're here to help. We want you to excel. We want you to, accomplish your goals, but also make sure your business is right and tight. So thanks, everybody. Reach out to us if you have any questions. See ya.
Thank you. Thank you, Brandon.
Guys,
Thank
that
you,
was
guys.
awesome.
Aloha.
Good job, Brendan.
Aloha.